I like to press the record button at random times just to freak everyone out.
Oh no.
So here's what we're gonna do. This is a segment that I have recurring on the podcast. When you're backing out of a awkward situation, what's the noise that you hear? Tierney first.
Beep, 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 beep.
Okay, Jeremy.
I just hear like, huh, huh, huh.
I can't tell if someone's like about to vomit or if the ground is shaking. Like I don't know what is that noise.
That's it. Up to the artist interpretation.
I love it. Okay, Kelly, what do you hear?
I create the awkward situations, so I'm just kind of like, bye.
Okay, now everybody say theirs at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Beep, beep, beep.
I started laughing too hard at Jackie.
Yeah, Kelly, you didn't do it at all, and I loved that. That was so
She just
fun.
went,
That was chaos. Now let's really get chaotic. And when I say let's get chaotic, I mean let's snap like Ginger. That was such a fun movie, wasn't it, guys?
It was great.
I think I got physically angry at a couple
Yeah.
points.
Yeah, it's hard not to. I just love that of the options that I gave for us to watch, that everyone agreed to this movie. And don't you regret it?
No. Tierney tells me, she's like, all right, it's one of these two. And I'm like, well, I've never seen Ginger Snap, so let's try that one.
What I'd love to do is have one of you try to describe succinctly what the movie is. I have a synopsis written down, but I don't want to use it. I want someone to try
I want Jeremy to do it.
I would
Me?
love that.
All right. So it's about these two girls. All right. Two girls named Bridget and Ginger. Ginger obviously has to have red hair because, that's the whole thing. They have this weird pact where they're just gonna die at 16, like every edgy teenager. They make kind of faces throughout the whole movie. Dude, the one girl,
This is a podcast. No one
Yeah.
knows what face you made.
Anyway, so they have a suicide pact. They decide to go out in the woods after her mom and dad are like, please don't go outside. They immediately do. She gets bit by this random fucking dog, and you're like, oh, what is this dog? Some guy hits it, and he's just like, oh shit, that's a 12-inch penis, because he did reference it.
Hits it with his car, not
Yeah.
hits it with his hand or something. He's not like,
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
dog, slap.
yeah. And then so just annihilates this thing like a deer on the interstate. And then some weird things go on. She apparently gets her period in this moment. Then she's lusted for blood after that, after she was bit, by the way. She was bit. Then she gets her period.
I want this
gets
put
mad.
as it is in the Blockbuster back of the DVD. Like I want
Yeah,
this
yeah.
exact
This is-
wording.
This is it.
This is so on par for him
Yeah.
describing something. I can't even explain it to anybody.
And so she gets her period. She gets mad that she got her period because she's finally a woman. Really mad about that. Then she just becomes a horn dog for one kid. Then they decide to murder one of their classmates after all the fucking dogs go missing. And yeah, then she gets turned into a real life werewolf, and her sister's like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this together. And the power of friendship happens, where she also gets the infection, and they ride off into the sunset after the one sister stabs the other Ginger to death. And yeah, that's Ginger Snap.
That was incredible. Jeremy, 5 stars, several notes.
And now
a
Ginger
couple of
Snap 2
notes
is
for
about-
you, but no. Next, Jeremy will be describing our grocery list without naming the items. Didn't you kind of feel like, I honestly, after I watched it, I was like, do you think this is what Trump watched before and thought this was set in Springfield or something? Like, he's like, they're eating the dogs. Like, he watched this
Yeah.
movie and mistook it for news.
Now that I'm looking back on it, I'm like, they were eating the dog. All the
Yeah.
dogs are dead.
They
Yeah.
actually showed it to him, but it was a newscast. They put a newscast thing around it, and that's what he thought was
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it had like Fox News ticker tape underneath the film.
I was one Google search away of going down.
Wow, thankfully you stuck with the birds and not Ginger Snaps. It really is a weird movie. It's sort of like a Tampax commercial gone all the way wrong, don't you find?
Yeah, and I love how she just slowly turns into Rogue from X-Men throughout the movie.
I also love that I asked the question about Tampax and immediately Jeremy goes, yeah. I'm like, we have women in the room, and Jeremy's like, yeah, no, it's absolutely that.
Jeremy's bought a lot of products over the years.
I saw.
I do trust.
Worked
Good for you.
Also worked in the supermarket for 16 years. I'm your guy if you need
Hey,
help.
no, I love it. I love it. So I want to start
be
out
afraid.
by what just happened. Why did it say don't be afraid?
Well, I'm saying don't be afraid to buy feminine.
Oh my God, I thought I hit something on my computer and it said that.
Don't be afraid.
I was like, why am I not afraid? What am I not afraid of?
It was actually the birds talking to you.
Yeah.
I think nobody
Yeah.
actually said that.
Oh
Look
my
outside.
God, there's one in the room. So, okay, we have to talk about your favorite character in the film. Let's not all jump on it at once.
Mine would be the drug dealer. I think his name was Sam.
Me
Yeah.
too. I loved him. He was iconic and kind of hot.
Yes.
I was about to
He's
say he was
also-
a hottie patati, so that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's also the guy from Final Destination 3. If
Mm.
anybody likes
Ooh, a
Final
deep
Destination
dive
3.
for me. Is that the one where they get stuck in the tanning beds?
Oh, I love
Yes.
that one. Oh,
Yes.
that's my favorite.
Actually,
too.
both the guys are in Final Destination 3. Fun fact.
That kind of
Is
makes
that
sense. It
guy-
seems like this is sort of the lane that they would go down, being tortured.
I don't know about you guys, but the one that Ginger slept with, he looked just like Chase from Zoe 101. And I don't know if
He
that's the same
straight up
person.
did, and it's not the same time period because I looked it up.
Ugh.
Like, I don't understand. I think the guy still looks like that. Maybe he's a vampire,
Interesting. Yeah, because I said that as soon as I saw him. I was like, is that Chase from Zoe 101?
Literally look
Seriously,
just
yeah,
like
it looks
him.
like
You're
him.
so right.
Yeah.
Did anyone have any other favorites, or is that collectively our favorite?
I kind of liked and disliked the mom.
Yeah.
I just like that she was kind of quirky, but she was like hella, I don't know, add a check, I guess.
She's like, I'm glad that my parenting style really helped you ladies blossom.
She was also getting
Meanwhile,
ready to
they're
like
gonna
off the
die.
dad.
Oh, yeah,
was
she
ready
wanted to
the
kill
dad.
him immediately.
She was like, "Oh, your father would never understand." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah, that was so unhinged. She literally was like, your dad's not going to understand what you're going through, so let's kill him.
Let's
Yeah.
blow up the house with him inside.
Like she thought about this. Like that mom
She was ready.
doing her little Pilates every morning is like, I'm
Her
gonna kill
little
my husband
curly
one day.
bangs.
She's been praying that this happens, and she saw the
Yeah.
opportunity and she ran with it.
See, and that's how the horror story of Miss Frizzle begins.
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
she's basically one step away.
She's
Not
like,
you
first
bringing
to
it
get a
back.
bus. An honorable mention in that movie for my favorite character was the janitor. I loved him. He was so he
Aw.
was just so funny. He was just like, oh, hello. And then just doing his thing, like average Joe.
I have to say, actually, my favorite character. She's in the film for a total of 47 seconds. It's the first mother that finds the dead paw of the dog, and she's got
Ah.
the kid in the sandbox. It's the beginning of the film, and
Yeah.
so something's going awry in the town, and she sees the kid. He's got blood all over his mouth and a dead dog's paw, and she just carries him like nothing's going on to look for the dog. I'm like, you're not gonna wipe the blood off. We're not concerned.
Mm-mm.
She also
I-
doesn't know how to rake leaves. Did anybody else notice that?
At all.
I
She's
said that
No, that's
terrible.
exact-
happened?
That's exactly how I would rake leaves too. You rake it and then pick it up with your hands.
Yeah, but she did the bait. I'm not getting into this with you. I've seen
But she
you in the yard.
carried it across the yard. Like, why not rake to that
And
pile?
Was I
I
the
don't.
one that I felt like she was about to kill the kid after she raked up the leaves because the way she was looking at him was a little. She looked a little hungry. I don't know what was going on there.
She had the eye.
I honestly, for the longest time in the film, thought the younger sister with that terrible wig, who is now that wig owner is in charge of all Nicole Kidman's wigs, constantly employed. Yeah, I thought she was killing everyone for a long time because of her facial expressions. I was like, what is and then she didn't do it, and I was like, oh, that was sad. I wish that had been the twist.
With her character, I was like, wow, the facial expressions and acting is so bad, but it fits.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not gonna complain about it.
Some of her facial expressions are like when like I'm cooking chicken nuggets in the microwave and they come out wrong, and I'm just like
Well,
I'm
famously,
mad. I'm like,
you actually, Jeremy, she famously was eating chicken nuggets on set. That's before every take. Anyway, that was a joke.
yeah.
Oh, that would have been wild if that was
That
true.
would have been
Imagine her favorite
crazy.
meal, chicken nuggets,
She's like-
French fries. She's like, give me the kids menu from Friendlies.
So here's an interesting fact I looked up. First of all, Scarlett Johansson was supposed to be in this film, but the Canadian casting directors banded together to boycott the casting of this film. And so they had to go to like an LA office to cast it. That's what I read. It's Wikipedia, so it could be wrong. And then they found these two girls. But these two girls that are playing sisters, they grew up together. They had the same agent. But Ginger, although she plays an older person than the sister, she's 4 years younger than the other girl. And you can tell. You can tell that other
Yeah.
girl looks about 45.
Yeah, well, that girl probably was smoking like 8 cigarettes a day,
Yes.
drinking 4 pots of coffee.
I'm kind of still thinking about the wig.
Oh, it will not leave my brain. I can't unsee it. It's horrifying. That was the scariest thing in the film.
It was my favorite fact when I was like looking up facts for the film, and it was like Bridget wears a wig, and I was like, no shit.
Yeah, obviously.
Wait, where was this
Wait.
fact? That's amazing. Someone typed that and submitted
Yeah.
it.
It's on
Oh, man.
IMDb.
Wait,
love
now I
how
want to
that's-
read all the facts. That is so
I love
funny
how
and
that's-
unhinged.
Someone
I was
literally
like,
was
what?
just like, yes. If
What do
nobody
you think?
knows-
So what do you think the budget for the film was?
Probably about.
It was made by Lionsgate, so I'm going 3
Was it?
million.
Yeah,
million.
it was. It was one of their first films. It's crazy because it looks like it was made for about $5.
I was saying about 350 and a Big Mac.
Yeah,
all
truly,
it
some
took.
chicken nuggets, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Chicken
as
nugget
I
meal at
was-
McDonald's.
As I was watching it, I was like, do you think they told anyone in this neighborhood that they were filming this? Like, because they're really screaming and stuff, like out loud in the middle of these places. I'm like, these neighbors must be freaking out right now. And then I looked it up and they were freaking out. Like they got in a lot of trouble for some of the stuff. Like
Really?
people were like hiding their kids and
Mhm.
yeah.
The scenes where they were like pretending to be dead and they're taking photos, they shot in someone's house, and they kept having to like take this little kid and hide them whenever the girls would go move around the house or something.
Oh my god, that is so funny.
Tierney, you better come prepared. I love it.
And
Oh, I
that
got my
kid turned out
facts.
To be,
She's our fact person.
yeah.
I love it. So normally on your podcast, you ask questions like what I'm trying to ask. What's a question here that you would ask though? Like, because I want to know, I want to like fit the format of your show a little bit. Like, what after you talk about some of the things we've discussed, like what are some of the topics that you try to broach each time on yours?
Like probably like favorite quote is one.
Yeah, you're see, we were talking about how the movie was filmed with just a chicken nugget budget. What is your favorite, like the cinematography, the sound, you know?
We usually try to work in those kind of questions, as well as like favorite character, which you already
Yeah.
went over.
I
and
love
then, like,
that.
least
Who's-
favorite character.
Favorite on
Yeah,
screen death.
who's your least favorite character of this movie?
Mine?
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh God, Ginger. I thought Ginger was insufferable.
She got really clingy and jealous at the end, and I don't love that.
I did love,
Yeah.
honestly, the way that she killed that. Well, she actually didn't kill her, but the girl that died in her house and how they
Yeah.
handled that. So, anyone that hasn't seen it, you need to watch it. But, like, literally, the girl slips on a pile of milk that was spilled and hits her head on the counter and bleeds out. And they act like they're staging a death or something. And, like, Ginger's like licking up the blood, and she's like, "Dad, try it," and he's like, "Had enough with it," and I was like.
Mhm.
She's in the freezer. Why didn't they call? Like, they didn't kill her. Why didn't they call somebody?
Yeah. And why did they bury her in the shed? Why didn't
Yeah,
they
that
take
was
her out to
crazy.
the forest.
Yeah. Also, if you're 16 and still have a dollhouse like that outside, like,
Well,
Yeah,
Also-
red flag.
Why
Yeah.
didn't you just make it look like it got eaten by a wolf or whatever, like all the dogs?
why didn't
they're eating the dogs.
why didn't Bridget just let Ginger eat her? I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, she should have eaten her because then it wouldn't be in the dollhouse. She ruined a perfectly
Yeah.
good dollhouse for a 16-year-old.
Especially how she was just like, I lust for blood. It's like you have a perfectly good body.
Yeah, why are you out here killing other people? Eat that.
Yeah.
But can we talk about Ginger's final form? Because
Oh, yes, and we have to.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all, them werewolf titties was crazy.
She literally, okay, so we're watching it. She changed. She goes, look at those titties.
I was like, whoa. I don't know. I just thought it should look more dog-like. I really wasn't expecting boobs. And then when I saw them, I was like, wow. That's where the Big Mac budget went.
I
There's
would
the
love to
prosthetic
know
tits.
what it was like in the room when they were having the discussion about the build of that. Like, can you imagine? And the director's like, you know what's missing actually is breasts.
Huge tits.
I mean, she's a girl, so girl werewolves have boobs, right?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, who's to say? They can do whatever they want. But they were so unhinged.
You know, if you think about it, that's why in Twilight they never had a female wolf transform because they couldn't show boob.
They
Ginger
obviously
Snaps
hit
ruined
the-
it for them.
Yeah, imagine they were like, you know what this movie needs? Tits.
More tits.
I do wonder if they did that because the whole thing is obviously sort of an allegory for the fact that she's changing and her body's changing and she's going through what did she call it? The curse
The curse.
Yeah.
for her period
Exactly
and
what it is.
and it is and it sucks, but I'm like, wow, they really leaned into that allegory all the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They fully went
It
into
was a
that.
really good like prepubescent kind of teen high school horror movie, you know, for girls going through that kind of stuff. But at 32, I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on right now?
Yeah. Oh, it's
Now-
so unhinged.
I
Now
felt like
looking
I was
back on it-
watching I felt like I was watching an episode of Buffy.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
great show though.
Good connection.
It is a great show. I love Buffy, but like that's how it felt, especially with the prosthetics and the lack of CGI. Like it
Yes.
just was like, especially when she first starts to transform and they do the angry eyebrows,
The
that
weird
they do with
eyebrow
the
thing.
vampires.
Yeah.
They had the budget
was
of
like-
CW11.
Yeah.
Like the Flash TV show.
Yes. And this movie honestly would have benefited from being about 30 minutes long. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, it went
Absolutely.
on for an hour 40 minutes.
I think-
That was like, I was just like, towards the end, we were like, when she visibly says out loud, when is this movie ending? And had to
I was like,
pause
I
it.
can't.
And she was like, oh, 10 minutes? Okay.
The last like killing, you know, after she drugged Sam into the basement and I don't know. I blacked out after Sam died, to be quite honest. I don't know, other than, you know, the titty at the end and the knife wound, that's all I remember.
I like also how he lived in a greenhouse.
Oh yeah. Can we talk
I was
about
sad.
Can we talk about their house though? Like the way that their room was set up, the texture of the walls.
They were in
The
a
An
lights.
prison.
unfinished basement.
They were in a prison.
Yeah, they fully lived. I feel like it was the set of Prison Break and they happened to not be filming at the time and they were like, we can get it on discount.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
mean, it really did with the wrought iron beds and like they just made it look teeny with like the beads, the
Yeah.
hanging beads.
But meanwhile, they're in a fucking dungeon.
Yeah, one side of the room was like fortune teller's office, the other side is prison, and there was like
Yeah.
visible wallpaper difference between the two. Like
Oh.
Yeah.
it was like student film. I loved it.
It needed more Fallout Boy posters to really set the
I don't think
ambiance
Fall Out Boy
alive.
was a thing then.
In 2004, they were starting out.
This wasn't
They got popular in
2004.
2007, so they were around in the same
This
time
was
period.
2000.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I told you that.
This was never mind.
Actually, Prince's song "We're Gonna Party Like It's 1999" was based on this movie. Okay, favorite line. What was your favorite line in this movie?
Calling a period the curse. I just was like, all right, that works for me.
I love that.
Completely.
I think mine was when Bridget was telling the mom, like, the mom asked Bridget, oh, should I go talk to her? And Bridget's like, no, she thinks it's really cool when you just kind of like let us figure stuff out on our own. And then my favorite was when the mom was like, I was wondering if that parenting style was working.
That was so funny. She was totally in a different style of a film than they all were. Like she was
Yeah.
in a comedy.
She was like out here.
I don't really have a favorite quote. I don't know why the movie 13 is playing in my head watching this movie.
What?
So like in my
With
mind,
Zac
I just wanted them to
Efron?
be like, what?
With Zac
No.
Efron?
No,
No.
the movie 13 where she's
13.
like, no bra, no panties. And then like they're trying to stop a guy spreading an STD, and he just looks at the principal and he's like, try and stop me. It's gonna spread anyway.
I don't remember that. I don't know why I'm thinking.
Okay, you want to talk about Ginger Snap? Watch the movie 13.
Oh
Yeah, it's a good
God.
movie.
It's
Okay,
got,
so-
what's her name in it? Evan Rachel Wood.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it. So my favorite line was right when Ginger's found out that she's having her period and she's sitting at the table eating that disgusting non-chicken nugget and everybody's just watching her eat. And she says, I wish this was baby's legs.
Yeah. That was a good one.
I was like, Ginger, what?
Ginger, they were so angsty at dinner. I was like, yo, y'all just need to calm down.
And
It
I
is
like how
not that serious.
And I like how the dad, unfazed by everything, still eating his fucking chicken thigh.
that man.
Like-
That man wanted to get blown
yeah,
up
that,
in that house.
he did. He said one of these days.
He was ready to go.
He really was. He was in the movie and never really spoke. I just
Yeah.
feel like he was just there. I feel like they
Mhm.
pulled one of the cinematographers in and were like, just sit.
He just got a
And
SAG
then-
card for it, and then that's
And-
it.
That's it.
And that cast guy was just like, wait, I'm gonna get how much money?
None.
A Big Mac.
Yeah.
They only bought
love
6
that.
Big Macs, so they had to split it.
They gave him a gift card to Tim Hortons and told him to fuck off.
If you had directed this movie or written this movie, how would you have changed it?
I would put Shakira in there.
Wow.
She's
Okay.
werewolf.
Oh,
She's a she-wolf
Oh,
in the
I get it.
closet.
Okay. All right. You redeemed yourself because I was
Yeah.
really confused.
But imagine Shakira in this.
I think the first thing, restructuring the budget, would probably go to hair and makeup and get that fucking wig off Bridget's
Yes.
head.
Or everyone has Bridget's wig.
Or everyone has the same wig. Even the werewolf final form deserves the wig.
I would watch that. I honestly, now I want to Photoshop that wig into every film. Like imagine Jurassic Park, they're wearing the wig.
With just Bridget's wig.
You know, now that we're talking about wigs, my job does this thing where we do like JCPenney style photos with a bunch of our coworkers and make a calendar for our VP. And we're doing one this year, and the theme is white trash NASCAR.
Wow.
So I bought a sick mullet wig.
If you want to know, we live 30 minutes from an actual
Boy, you are
NASCAR
giving
racetrack.
away our location.
Yeah, people are going to go geo-track you. I think you're good.
yeah.
30
The
minutes
birds
is
are
a
gonna-
wide radius. I don't think Ginger's going to snap into your backyard after this.
Yeah.
I think you're safe.
I don't know. I'm a little
You might
worried.
need to keep a hammer behind your bed just in
Yeah.
case.
If you think
Yeah.
I don't have hammers behind the bed, you're wrong.
She doesn't. She goes, hey, can you check that sound? And I go, absolutely not. You go outside.
That is accurate.
Tierney, what would you change about the film?
I think I would make it an episode of Buffy and have Buffy in there. I think that would make it great.
Yeah, they do need a character that you can really root for because you're not rooting for any of them.
No, I mean I liked the drug dealer a lot, and I was sad that he died.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
did
he
you
was
like him
great.
because of his character? Or
It's
did
the
you like him
fun-
because he was hot?
It's the fucking
liked his
ferryman from
character. I
Ghost
thought
Ship
he
all
was
over
like-
again.
I was just checking, man. Dang.
Here we
No,
go.
I
Here's
thought
the
he was-
tangent about how the ferryman was beautiful in Ghost Ship. And
Listen,
you wanted to fuck him.
I like bad guys. Sue me.
Yeah, we
No,
talk
I-
about that in our book club.
At least you liked his character. I just looked at him and was like, oh, pretty. And when he had the, what was he doing? I mean, I know that he worked for some sort of like greenery company or whatever,
Mhm.
and at some point he was holding a chainsaw and he was like circling the van slowly. That was odd. What was that about?
I think he did like landscaping.
Oh, we
you
lost Kelly.
Kelly.
my
my mo-
mother-in-law was trying
And
to call
that's
me.
why you put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Now,
Guys,
see,
you guys can keep going. I'm getting back. Just the video.
This is when we witnessed the divorce.
no, it takes a lot. I always joke around. The only way I'm leaving this relationship in a body bag because she's gonna kill me.
Yep.
I
that's
wish
true.
that Ginger had killed more people. Like, who do you wish she
Honestly.
had killed?
Dad.
Wow, dude, fuck everyone else. That dad's
I
gotta
kind
go.
of wish she killed the mom next door, the one that was screeching about the dog in the beginning.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that. That was such a good setup in the beginning for her to come back, and she never did.
Yeah, there was a lot of characters in that movie that they just showed and just never did.
It
Ever
had to
again.
have been a non-union gig. I think that they just had people come in for an under 5, and we're like, "That's it." They
That's all you
capped
get.
out.
Here's your $25
Here's
gift
your-
card to Tim Hortons. Go have
Here's
fun.
your Big Mac. Bye.
Well, they shot it all in 6 weeks, so pretty
It
quickly.
shows.
They were like, "You're in. Okay, you're out. Okay, you're in. Okay, you're out."
Yeah. I was impressed that they shot it in 6 weeks because I thought they shot it in under 1.
This isn't a home movie. I thought it was a school project.
It almost felt like giving an amateur film student a camera and it's like, go.
This is your senior project.
This is your project.
The guy
It
that
really
directed.
was.
Oh, go ahead, Tierney.
No, I was gonna say it really was the 2 girls telling the story of their life in high school when they were in college doing a student film.
Yes,
that's
really what it was.
absolutely. I found it really interesting. The guy who directed this, John Fawcett, he directed a lot of Orphan Black, which is an exceptional show, unlike this.
Mhm.
He said, I know that I wanted to make a metamorphosis movie and a horror film. I also knew that I wanted to work with girls. What kind of quote is that? What does that
Okay,
even mean?
that sounds a little rapey. I'm sorry.
It sounds a
It
little
does.
predatory.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah, there's something going on there, and now it alludes to the fact that the boobs on the wolf were really a problem as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a problem on set. The director kept stealing the werewolf.
Yeah. He kept taking it home. He kept checking it out like a library card. Oh, I'll return it at the end of the week, I swear.
The latex boobs are getting weird. I gotta bring it home.
I got to mold it for science.
I want to know who was in the wolf costume. Like, do you think it was Ginger?
Oh,
No,
It
I
wasn't.
hope someone was in that
Yeah.
costume.
I like
They
to
had-
believe it was a hired gymnast that like can do like weird contortions and stuff, but was told to just act like a dog.
Or what if they
Okay.
got like, they're like, oh, let's look at our local ad for puppy play and get that guy.
When you were watching it, were you at any point like, God, I wish we had picked a different film?
Kelly definitely did.
In the last like maybe 20 minutes, I was like, why the fuck did we pick this? Then I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? Out of the 2, I chose this one.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
I gave her the option.
I was like, that's
I
on
know.
me. That's on me.
I picked purposely a good film and a trashy film, and of course, we ended with the one that.
But this podcast wouldn't be good if we were watching Birds. Like, let's be honest. Like, Ginger Snapped. It has a
Yeah.
trilogy.
It was the right choice.
It was the right choice.
What I really hope is that we inspire everyone to watch this film because it was literally the worst movie I've seen in probably 20 years.
Did you see the
I've
rate-
recommended it.
Did you
already.
see the rating it got on Rotten Tomatoes of a
No.
90?
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. It got a
Mhm.
90 on Rotten
Why?
Tomatoes.
Never mind. Don't
And I
ask
think
me
it was
why.
peer reviewed and it had a 48, which I loved. 2 drastic differences.
Yeah, I don't even know how much they spent the budget on the Rotten Tomatoes Like
Yeah, they paid people
totally-
off.
No,
They
they
did.
they let them take the wolf costume without checking it
It
out
was
or renting it.
they spent it on wigs because they had to give Bridget a new wig every day.
Apparently, this was the 5th highest grossing Canadian film in 2001.
Well, that tells
So-
you the stock in their film economy.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Did you know another fun fact? This is actually Meryl Streep quotes this movie a lot in her preparation work for Sophie's Choice. And after she watched this film, she said, "Let's go back. I would like to kill both the kids."
No, but that's crazy.
I fucking love Meryl Streep for that.
I made that
What an
up, guys.
icon.
That is not real. That is not true at
Oh.
all. That is
I
totally
would-
made up.
I was
Tierney
like,
knew.
damn.
Tierney knew. Tierney was
What
like,
an
I smell
icon.
bullshit immediately.
Imagine
Always.
Meryl Streep sitting down watching that whole hour and 48 minutes, and just after that was like, I would have killed both. I would have totally believed you.
Also, Rosie O'Donnell is quoted saying, "This scared me out of being a lesbian." Also false. Also,
Which to go off of that,
oh really?
were
How?
the sisters?
Please do.
No. But like, I felt like the sisters kind of had like a incestuous thing going on.
Yeah.
and I don't
Yes.
Yeah.
They
There was
did.
weird sexual tension.
There was weird
was like-
sexual tension in the sisters.
Yeah,
was
Bridget
like,
was
"Is
a
this Game
little
of
too
Thrones?"
obsessed. Bridget was literally like tracking her period and like all of this stuff, and I was like,
Well, that
I don't think that's
what-
coming from a place of tracking a werewolf. I think she's doing this because she's trying to figure out when she's next getting laid.
Well, she
Yeah.
was like,
She
"You're
was upset.
ovulating."
Yeah, she's ovulating.
She's
You gotta
ovulating.
stop.
Like, who does that? I
Yeah,
don't
why
even
didn't anyone
understand.
pick that as their favorite quote? Because that was so unhinged.
You know,
She literally
I
was
kinda
telling
forgot.
people she's ovulating.
Like in front of
And then
the-
asked her later, "Did you have unprotected sex?" Like, what are you, my fucking mom? Shut up.
yeah. Did he come in you?
Okay, relax.
Okay. Now we're gonna get away from the movie. I think we've beat it like a dead horse. Why did you guys decide that you're gonna do the podcast? Like, what was the impetus behind that? What made you want to do it?
It actually was my idea.
Oh,
Yeah. I just wanted to this is gonna sound really fucking corny. And
no,
I
it
just
won't.
wanted
We'll like
to-
it.
I wanted to take a hobby of my wife's and like embrace it a little bit, because we always talk about like involving each other in our hobbies. And I was just like, she really likes horror movie. Like, let me try to get involved in that a little bit.
Aw.
That's so sweet.
Oh,
Yeah.
He told me his idea, because we had made jokes for years about making a podcast about things that we loved, and he was like, "All right, hear me out. What if we made a podcast about watching horror movies, but I'm watching them?" And I was like, "Oh, that is interesting." And I was like, "You know what? I think it would be good to get Tierney on, because she's like, Tierney and I have known each other since we were little kids, grown up, been friends forever." And we've both been horror fans, and she kind of has like that background in cinematography and like knowing a lot more about movies than we do. We just kind of sound stupid when we're describing them. Tierney has knowledge.
I gave a great synopsis.
I went to film
Ginger snap.
school. That's why I'm on the podcast. I went to film school.
That's the
Wow.
only reason.
Just step on our friendship.
No, I love the dynamic between the three of you, and you all have very distinct voices, so it's obvious who's talking. Sometimes when you listen to a podcast with multiple people, you get lost in the
Mhm.
mix, and you guys
would-
balance each other out really well. It's really a fun.
I would hope
listen.
being the only guy that my voice wouldn't sound like them.
Oh my god.
I think I'd be more concerned if my voice sounded like you.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I do think you should incorporate a bird every single episode, though.
Like the background of me just becomes more and more unhinged with birds.
Yeah, every
Oh,
episode.
caw-caw.
We just start including little bird noises through the episode.
Yeah.
So, what are your goals for the podcast? What do you like? Are you going to bring on other people? Are you going to do guests on it, or
Yeah, I think I would like to consider bringing guests on in the second season. And I
Me too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
This
But
is
I
only
think-
going on the second season, not the first. Could you imagine?
good.
The
I just
first
wanna
season
make
is
sure.
only me.
Just talking to yourself.
I did do that once. I did do an episode where I talked to myself. It was riveting.
But I think what I'd like to do is when we bring guests on, depending on, how comfortable they are, but I'd like for people to come on to watch a movie, the scariest movie they had watched as a kid under the age of, 13. Like what movie
Yeah.
truly frightened you as a kid and either made you love horror movies or hate horror movies. And that's the movie that we watch and discuss. On
That'd
the
be
episode.
cool. I didn't think of that.
That's
We're
a
watching
really
a
good
lot of
hook.
fucking
You need to
Chucky.
do that. That is really a good one.
Yeah, I would definitely like to do that. It's just the figuring out the mechanics.
Yeah.
Taking 20 minutes to get microphones hooked up.
What's the movie that hooked you into horror in the first place off of that question?
Yeah,
Tierney
Tierney,
and
answer.
I just talked about this not that long ago.
I would say that the first horror movie I remember watching as a kid was actually Chucky,
Mhm.
but I didn't have the same effect on me that it had on Jeremy, clearly.
Which
Yeah.
that's so funny that you fell in love with horror because of Chucky and Jeremy hated horror because of Chucky. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching like slasher things, and I used to watch CSI when I was a little kid, and like,
That
I
tracks.
just-
Survivor.
yeah, I was like, oh, this is great. And then it just kind of kept watching Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Those terrified me as a kid.
Dude, we watched
Yeah.
we watched
oh
a
my God,
synopsis
yeah.
of
I'm such a fucking baby.
is it
It's Goosebumps because there was the mask.
Well, the Goosebumps, but there was the other one, the Nickelodeon show.
Or Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah. We watched a synopsis of one of the episodes, and he actually got scared watching the YouTube synopsis of the episode.
It was about
That
the
is-
werewolf.
Please record him reacting to that because that is so funny.
We have been recording him watching the episodes, but our camera kind of killed like halfway through some of the episodes. So we'll post bits, but I would definitely like to do like short horror films on YouTube as like a side special one day and just watch him in real time react.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
it
that
is
would be
Pretty
hilarious.
amusing.
Oh, if you're in a room with me watching horror movies,
He just gets mad.
I get like I go through all of the emotions at once.
We're making you
Yeah.
grieve. Okay, we're at
Yeah.
the very end of this here. Plug your podcast really quickly.
Cool. So we are from Horror and the Hesitant podcast. We review horror movies with a bit of a twist. Tierney and I have been horror lovers since we were kids, and Jeremy here is a horror hater learning to love horror. New episodes every Tuesday on Spotify. Check us out on Instagram, Horror and the Hesitant, Twitter, Facebook, eventually TikTok.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we should have Apple Podcasts set up soon.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, it takes a second for it to go through, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you using as your like connecting to it? Like I use Podbean. What are you guys using?
We use Riverside FM.
I don't even know what that is.
I tried Googling a bunch of them. That was one of the only ones I could find for good remote hosting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kelly will take weeks to like really narrow it down. She'll be like, let's watch these YouTube videos. Like even picking out these mics was like a 2-week
researching.
stint
Yeah,
where she just YouTube the reviews on every mic imaginable.
I am my father.
Well, that's good. It's
Yeah.
good to be thorough. Okay, you plugged your podcast. Now unplug your podcast.
Okay, bye.
No, it is genuinely going to time us out right now. So that's actually excellent. I love that. I loved having you guys on. I hope you had fun.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Yes.
did. We had a lot of fun.
We hope to have you join us.
Yeah.
Start thinking of your, most scary.
It would be The Ring. The Ring is the one we'd have to.
Oh,
That
that's a
scared
good
me
one.
so badly as a kid, and the phone rang in the middle of it.
Jeremy's
Yeah.
already looking at me like, no, please don't.
I was
For
at my
sure.
grandma's house watching it, and literally the phone rang, and she played along like it was the movie.
Oh, fuck her.
Oh.
Don't say fuck my grandma. Oh my god, Jeremy.
Like, that's a dick move.
Well, she